Welcome to New Hampshire Politics with John Burt. I am John Burt. I want to thank you for joining me today, and today I have a very exciting show, and let me explain what it's going to be about. September 11th is coming up, and that is the primary for state elections. I am in District 39. I don't have a primary. I am on the ballot, and I hope that you will allow me to serve you 4 more years. But the primary, I'm not in it, but please vote for me anyways. So in November, you need to come back. So make sure you get out in September 11th and vote. It is extremely important. And why I'm so excited with this show is I had 4 of the 5 candidates that I support for New Hampshire State Representative in District 6, which is just Goffstown, where I am in District 39. That is Goffstown, Ware, and Deeren. I had 4 of them come in, and let me tell you who they are. The first one that you're going to see is Fred Plett, Joe Alexander, Jeff Day, and Mike Gunski. They did great interviews with me. I talked to them, I gave them some good questions, and they answered them, and you're going to see a lot of passion and honesty. That's what I like about the 4 candidates that sat here and chatted with me, just the honest answers that they gave. And if you look at them, don't look at me, look at their faces, and you can see the sincerity in what they say. And I endorse every one of them. I want to talk briefly about Barbara Griffin. She is another one that I am endorsing. Unfortunately, during taping, she was out of town, so she could not make it. She's not going to be back until the next day. The next day I have to work, so I couldn't get her in here to tape her, but I do endorse Barbara Griffin. I hope you support her. She's done very well in the 2 terms she's been up there. She is chair of the election laws. She's done great work with the election laws. She believes, as I do, and everybody should, but some sadly don't. She believes in, if you live in New Hampshire, you get to vote here. If you live in Goffstown, you get to vote in Goffstown. If you live in Manchester, you should vote in Manchester. That's the way it should be. Sadly, we have others on the other side that believe different, and they say, oh, you're disenfranchising us, and all this other bull crap that they're talking about. Well, you know what? Barbara gets right on the House floor, and I've seen her. She'll go, I'm not having none of this. And she wins. So she's done very well, and that's one of the reasons why I'm endorsing her. I wish she could have had time to be here, but unfortunately she was out of town. And and at the end of this, interviews that I'm going to have, I'm going to be talking about who I'm going to vote for, and I have it here on a ballot, a sample ballot. So make sure you stay to the end, and I'll wrap the show up, and we'll talk about who I'm going to vote for, and hopefully you're going to like what is coming up. And please, on District 6, I am endorsing, and I hope you support and will vote for Barbara Griffin, Fred Plett, Joe Alexander, Jeff Day, and Mike Gunski. There's 2 other people running, very nice people, but I align myself politically with these other people a little more. So I'm not speaking ill of anybody, but there's 2 people, sadly, that I don't think that, I would like to have them join me in Concord, and I hope that you will watch this video or this show and take it to heart and vote for this on September 11th. Make sure you get out there on September 11th. But make sure you stay, because I'll be back at the end of the show. We are joined with Fred Plett, and he is running for New Hampshire State Representative.
Hillsborough 6.
That's correct. Thank you for coming on, Fred. It's always a pleasure. I first want to start off saying that I 100% endorse you.
Thank you.
As a state representative. The voters have been very, very good to me. They have put me up there 4 terms, and I'm hoping in District 39, I'm Goffstown, Ware, and Deeren, as you know, that they'll put me back. But I definitely would like to see you sitting there with me. I think we share a lot of the same topics, the conservative, especially on the Second Amendment. From what I understand, you're a huge supporter and always have been.
Yes, I'm a life member of NRA. I'm a life member of Gun Owners of New Hampshire.
Yes.
And very strong Second Amendment.
Yeah, good. And matter of fact, you and I have served on the Solid Waste Committee Several years.
It was called a commission at the time, but
Yes.
it was a committee.
Yes.
And I remember being asked by the selectmen at the time to do an analysis of the cost of the town to the town of trash and recycle pickup,
Yep.
and whether we'd be better to contract it out. And I did the analysis, and it shows one of my strengths, my ability to do that sort of thing. And it turns out it's costing the town half as much to do it ourselves as to contract it out.
Yeah.
And we got contracts from surrounding towns, adjusted it for the number of stops and so on, but it turned out half the cost, and that's including overtime for people replacing the original driver and so on.
Yes. Well, I remember I gave you a hard time because you came back with a number of like 50, don't quote me, but I think it was like $56 for the year. And I'm going
Per household.
per household, and I'm like, no. So you laid it all out there, and you explained it to me, and I said, all right, I guess he's right.
That's a little something I bring to the table.
Yes.
Is that I'm highly educated. I've got a master's in power engineering, an MBA summa cum laude, and I've done discounted cash flow analyses. At one time in my career, I worked for Public Service New Hampshire. Don't hold that against me.
Yes.
And I was this officer, assistant to the president, but I wrote the financial model that financed Seabrook.
Wow.
Yes,
So
and I did it. I did.
So you were back a few years.
Oh yes, and I bought and sold nuclear fuel with no time to make those decisions.
Yeah.
And so I brought that. My last job was with the Massachusetts Attorney General, and a lot of analysis like that, and advocacy for consumers. And I saved consumers, my team and I, of course, as not one
Yes.
individual, $250 million and more.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So the committee you should be on is science and tech, because that's where all of our power bills and windmills and solar and everything else comes to the table. I think they go to science and tech, if I remember right.
I would fit well there. However, as a freshman, it would be tough to get on budget, but I've got a lot to bring to the table for budgets and finance.
Oh, on the
because of
finance,
my
yes.
MBA, as I say,
Yeah.
the analysis that I can do.
Yeah. Well, I do know they put a couple freshmen on the finance committee, and that the first year it's a lot of work. The second year the budget's done, but it's still a lot of work the second year. But they work a lot. And
You said you were very successful over a few terms, and now you've got name recognition, which is really good.
Yes.
And I don't blame people for voting for you. You're a likable guy.
Oh, thank you.
And we like each other.
yes.
I've struggled perhaps a little more with the name recognition. I've been very active in town, as you know.
Well, that's what I see on your the palm card. How many of these have you passed out? Hundreds, right?
Hundreds, yes.
Yeah. And I'm looking at it going, wow. There's a lot on here.
And that's not all. I had to cut it off. But yes, I've been on the budget committee. I was vice chair of that for a few years. I was several years on the planning board. I was chair of that for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And Larry Edmonton was chair a lot. Bless his soul, he's passed
yes.
on.
Yeah, I like
And
Larry.
he grabbed me by the collar and got me onto the planning board. It taught me into running, and then he started using me as assistant moderator in school, and he was the moderator. And I guess people liked what they saw because I started becoming assistant moderator for the town as well, and I did that for several years, town and school. And a few town meetings I ran. I really liked it.
Wow. Yeah.
The ballot determination hearing, they're called now,
Yes.
instead of town meeting.
No. So you're under Rod Stark's, when you're assistant.
Well, I was under Rod Stark. Of course, now that I'm running for state rep, I'm untouchable. They can't use me as assistant moderator for school or town because
That is true.
Yes.
You can't be in there.
yes, but I was until this year,
Yes.
shall we say?
Yeah.
So yes, several other things. I've been on the Solid Waste Commission that you mentioned early on,
Yeah.
Capital Improvement Committee, and chair of that for a couple of years. On the Mountain View School Committee.
Oh, when they were building it?
Yes, the Charter Commission, when we had a Charter Commission, the first decision we made is not to become a city.
Yes.
We wound up with a charter and presented it to the voters. I wrote the majority report, not single-handedly, but a lot of the yeoman's work in writing the majority report. Did the best job we could in case it passed, but I didn't want it to pass, so I also wrote the minority report.
Yes.
Which was my right.
And you're also active in several, groups like in town, like, where the popcorn stand, I saw you there, I bought popcorn off you several times.
I am a Goffstown Lion.
Yeah.
I mentioned that, but I also caution that Lions and politics do not mix. It's apolitical.
Yes.
And so by my mentioning I'm on Goffstown Lions, that is no way implying an endorsement by the Goffstown Lions, because we've got Democrats and Republicans, and we stay away from politics.
And that's the way it should be.
Except for the nonpartisan town elections, we do run a candidates night, and everyone's welcome.
Yes,
but
I've been to that several times.
We've shied away from the partisan ones, the state level.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to mention that. I'm also district governor of Lions now, which is for half the state. There's 2 districts in New Hampshire, 44N and 44H, N and H for New Hampshire.
Wow.
And I'll be multiple council chair next year for the entire state.
So that's got to be a lot of work.
That's less work next year.
Yes.
But this year it's a lot of work, and I wish the timing were a little bit different for this race, because I'm going to be having visited most of my clubs by the time I get elected in January. I will get elected and will serve starting in January, but I'll have most of my clubs out of the way. And I think if I can get the morning and noon clubs out of the way and the further ones, then I can get out of there and visit the rest of them and still be able to do both. But it will be a full-time job.
Yes, yeah. But you have the time.
I have the time. I was fully employed until June 29th. Yes. And I put in my papers, and now waiting for my first pension check.
Oh, you haven't got it yet?
No, it takes the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, as I mentioned, I work for the Massachusetts Attorney General, about 4 months to do all the paperwork. And
well, so what are you doing from your last paycheck to 4 months? Are you down on the corner with a tin can?
No. I've got pensions from Public Service New Hampshire, from Allied Signal, from now Honeywell.
So I don't have to lose sleep that you're going to go hungry.
And I'm over 70, so I'm on Social Security.
Okay, good.
And I had a really fat check for the last check from the Commonwealth, because I was able to cash in some benefits.
Oh, good.
So I'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, we're toward the end, and if you want to, just talk to the voters and tell them why they should vote for you. And again, Fred, I do endorse you, and I hope the voters will, bless you as they blessed me.
Hopefully I'm coming across what I am, which is I like people, and even though I'm very conservative and pro Second Amendment, pro life, very conservative with the taxpayer dollars. I've reached across every aisle I've ever faced, and try to work with people and try to develop consensus positions. And a lot that goes on in the legislature is not partisan.
Yes.
Some of it is, but a lot of it is not. And if you can work with people, that's a good thing. And I've worked. I work several large, complex problems with lots of people involved with disparate opinions, and I've managed to bring them to successful conclusions. That's what I hope to bring to the job at the State House as a representative. As you heard from my history, I'm very civic. That's my life. I was a JC, I'm Lions, I'm several different organizations, Knight of Columbus, all the town organizations. So my life is being civic, trying to provide for my fellow man.
Yes. Well, thank you, and I appreciate you coming on and sharing your thoughts. And,
thank you.
And I can't wait.
Okay.
Right. Yep. And who I have today is Joe Alexander, and he is also running for New Hampshire State Representative in District 6. Is that correct? Yes, it is.
Sir.
Yeah, because I'm in District 39, so I always forget. Well, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me, John.
It's a real pleasure. And Joe, I just want to tell you that out of all the candidates that are running, I really like what you're doing and you're offering, and you have a palm card that you've been passing out. So I just want to tell the voters that I do endorse you. And they've been very good to me, as I said earlier, and they've just blessed me with 4 years to be their state representative. And I hope that they also say yes, they'll send you up there, because I would love to have you up the State House working with me. Because I think if we can get a good crew, which we always have a good crew of Republicans out of Goffstown, I think we can do some good for the state.
Well, thank you, John, for your support.
Yeah.
And I think something unique about my palm card, as you're mentioning it, is I'm signing every palm card, and I think that really shows how hard I'm going to work for the people of Goffstown.
Yes.
My attention to detail, and make sure that I'm following through with every single signature. So that's just something to show people that I'm interested in working and going all the way.
Well, one thing that I also point, now that you said that I like, is you put your phone number. And I've called you and you pick up. You know, and it's like, wow, you don't see that very often. Most people screen their calls, and you know, I put my home phone number, and if people call and I'm home, I pick up.
I'll pick up the phone if it's a local number, if I know it's a New Hampshire number.
Yes.
I also text pretty frequently, so if somebody shoots me a text, let me know who they are. I'm happy to respond right away.
Yeah. Now, you went to school here.
I did.
Yes, and then also college.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, no, so I went to St. Anselm College for 4 years.
Yes. Oh, okay. So you didn't go to high school
No.
here. Oh, okay.
No.
So St. Anselm's.
Yes.
Yeah. So you
Yes.
went there, and that's a good college.
Yes.
Yeah.
So one thing St. A's taught me in particular is to be curious and always question things. And I think that's what that kind of community had. Liberal arts in general teaches you a lot of different things, but I think the most valuable part of it is the fact that they teach you to question. And I think that's what a characteristic of a good state representative would be, is somebody that isn't just always going to follow one direction or always going to vote one way, but they're going to question every single vote they make. They're going to question
Yes.
what people tell them. So I'm there to be curious, and I'm there to make sure I'm asking the right questions.
Yeah, well, you know, I like that too, because you know, sadly, some people go up there, and both parties do it. They give you a leadership paper. We would like you to vote like this. A lot of reps won't do the work, and it's a lot of work. And I think you're willing to put the time in, and they'll just sit there and press the green or red button as they think that the leadership wants. And it's like, no, question. You're supposed to ask questions. And you know, yes, I'm probably going to vote mostly with the Republicans and conservatives. But not always.
I plan on voting mostly with Republicans and conservatives as well.
Yeah.
The great part about New Hampshire is we have 400 state reps, though. So
Yes.
there's going to be times when not every Republican's going to vote with every Republican.
That's right.
And that's a unique and great aspect to New Hampshire.
Yes, it is. Now it says you're also a member of the Goffstown Budget Committee. So,
I am.
You know, that's great that you're working on the town level, and you know, so you got some name recognition to get onto the ballot there.
I am, and one thing about the budget committee is also being meticulous and putting the work in and looking line by line at the town budget, because my property taxes are going towards town services. So
Yes.
What I would say is, you know, something I can see that we can make cuts, or we can hold the line on budget increases. And I think if we can do that at the local level, we should be able to do it at the state level as well.
Yes, yeah, I think we can and we should. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because sometimes the budgets, they start out pretty high, and it's like, oh, really? You know, and with your, like you say, question and trying to keep things, you know, in perspective, I think is going to help a lot.
Exactly. So we need a representative who's willing to put the work in and willing to actually read everything that's put in front of them, read the budget, read the bills, and make an educated vote.
Yeah. Now, is there any particular committee? I know you're just starting, but you know, is there a particular topic, you know, an item that you like? Like I'm on criminal justice, because that's where all the gun bills, as a rule, comes, and I'm kind of the gun guy up there, so I fight for those and criminal justice, and you know, I really love my criminal justice.
Well, I really enjoy election law. I enjoy studying it.
Oh, yeah.
So that would be something I would be interested in.
Yeah.
Another one I would say is state and local government.
Yeah.
I'm in graduate school for public policy, and a lot of what we're talking about is what the role of government and where, like, which level of government makes the policy for certain areas. So
Yes.
that would be quite an interesting committee to be on as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, our current state rep, and she is running, is Barbara Griffin, and she's the chair of election, and she's done pretty good, because like she says, if you vote here, you probably should live here. And some people don't think that, but I do. I think that if you are voting in Goffstown or Manchester, you probably should live in those towns.
Well, and that's I think we've done a very good job passing certain bills this cycle that have
Yes.
made it a lot easier for New Hampshire residents to be confident that
Yeah.
New Hampshire residents are voting.
Yeah.
Being a college student also, when I was going to college at St. Anselm College, I wasn't voting at that college. I was voting in Concord because that's where my parents lived and that's where I came from. So
Yes.
that's the whole concept is let's
see, I
vote
like
in the
that.
place we're from.
Yep, I like that.
And you know what? Maybe we can, as a state, allow more like access to absentee ballot or education and helping college students acquire absentee ballots.
Yes.
It shouldn't be too expensive. I think stamps are 45 cents.
Yeah.
So allowing college students like better access to absentee ballots so they can vote on their local issues in their states.
Exactly, because if we can do it with the military, you know, we have tens of thousands of military overseas that we can make it happen that they vote in their hometown here. So, you know, when a Goffstown person goes overseas, he's still voting here. We can do that with college kids.
Exactly, and I think it's nonsense for people to argue that we're suppressing vote. Like, it's not a voter suppression thing.
No.
It's let's keep New Hampshire, New Hampshire. Like, let's keep this a unique state.
Yes, absolutely. One thing I like about your palm card that you're passing out, it says, you know, you oppose the state income tax, and I'm assuming the sales tax would be lumped in there.
Of course.
Yeah, and you know, do you want to talk about the advantages that you think we have and why you want to protect those? I mean, because I think, you know, with the 3 states and Canada, they're coming here all the time buying stuff.
They are.
And then they go home.
They are, and a lot of my friends, when they're going to college, they'll go and they'll stock up on all of their college stuff. They'll do their college shopping in New Hampshire before they move in. So if they're from Connecticut, they'll drive up with just their car, and they'll do a lot of their like dorm room shopping in New Hampshire because it really is an advantage to not have to pay those taxes.
Yes.
So, you know, at times Democrats are going to try to impose extra taxes on the New Hampshire residents, and I'm going to oppose them.
Yeah, good. And now how about small businesses? What do you feel about, you know, how we can try to help them out? You know, because when I first got in 2010, we were like 48th, 49th, not very friendly to businesses. And now we're in the low 30s, I think it is. You know, maybe even high 20s, which is great, but we still need to move forward.
Well, I think maybe making sure that we're allowing helping businesses if they need to start up, like giving them extra resources to start up, maybe some loans, things like that, so they can like get on their feet. Also rewarding businesses that are hiring local workers as well.
Yeah. No, we do. We need to help the small business as much as we can. And now, if you would like, again, I support you, and I hope you can get in, because I'd love to sit with you at the New Hampshire State House, and I think it would be cool to have you up there, and hopefully the voters will say yes. And if you want to tell them why you should be up there for them, please do.
Thank you, John. Yeah. I'm 23 years old. I just graduated St. Anselm College. I bought a house here last year. I've been in community for 5 years. One thing that I'm going to say that I will do is I'm going to show up and I'm going to work hard. I'm going to make sure that I'm taking votes, and I'm voting on almost every legislation. If I show up, I'm voting on the bill. So what I would say is 34 state reps had a 100% attendance rate last cycle. So I'm going to do my best to make sure I'm at 100% of the votes. So vote for me for state representative for Goffstown, and I'll show up.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And I'm sure the voters are going to reward us with some good votes and get good representatives like us up there.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you.
John.
I appreciate it. And we have Jeff Day now, and he is also running for District 6 for New Hampshire State Representative. Jeff, I want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you, John. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah. And I just wanted to have you on to talk about the good that you're going to do, because I have been, I've said it in the past couple segments, I've been very blessed by the voters. They seem to like me, and they put me up in Concord. They voted for me for 4 times as their state rep, and I'm hoping that they're going to do a 5th time, because I'm in District 39.
Yeah, me included. I'd love to see you go back up there as well.
Yes.
I would love to be included in that in that roll call as well too, though.
Well, and that's what I want to tell the voters, is that I'm having you on the show. One of the biggest reasons is because I like you, and I want you to sit next to me in Concord, and I hope they'll vote for you. But I 100% endorse you, and I hope that they take that serious. That I need like-minded friends up there to help. To bring the state forward in good ways, which the state is really booming right now. We're one of the unemployment is one of the best in the country. Our poverty rate is low. Our high income is high. I mean, we're doing really good in this state.
Oh, it absolutely is. I think the government has been doing pretty well as far as the administration is concerned, and our economy shows it.
Yes.
The vacancy rate in New Hampshire, there's an influx of people moving to New Hampshire.
Yes.
The vacancy rate is low, which is great for landowners, it's great for business, having the people in the labor force to work to fulfill jobs needed by the industry.
Yeah.
I think everything is moving well.
Well, and I think another thing that guarantee or shows that that's true is you put a house on the market and it's gone in 2 days.
Absolutely.
It's a seller's market out there. The buyers are like, they're paying $4,000 and $5,000, $8,000 more for the houses that are listed, and I'm like, wow.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I would even say it might be a little bit higher than that. But,
Yes.
But yeah.
Yeah. No, we're doing really good. And some of the things, I have your palm card here, and some of the things that I've noticed on it that I really like, and this is one of the reasons when you dropped it off is why I'm endorsing you and supporting you, and I'm going to vote for you, is the no income and sales tax. I mean, you're dead set against that.
Absolutely, no question about that.
Yeah.
It used to be a couple of years back, maybe a decade ago, that in order to run here, in order to get elected, you needed to pledge that you'd never vote for an income tax or a sales tax. I will take that pledge.
Yeah. I do every year.
We've never had it, and I would like to see us never have it. And that's one of the reasons why I'm running now, is because HB 628 is basically laying the groundwork for an income tax in the state. I'm super concerned about that. I think we need to stop it before it gets in place.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, because that does make me nervous. We have to make sure that never happens, because we have 3 states, if not part of Connecticut, even comes up here.
Right.
And they buy a lot.
Right. And another point to an income tax that I think a lot of people miss is there's usually a reciprocity involved with it. And if you work out of state, let's say Massachusetts, and I believe 1/3 of our population in southern New Hampshire works in Massachusetts, they already have an income tax. So it's already 5 or 6%. And normally, your income tax, if you have one locally in your state, will be paid second after you paid the other one.
It would.
New Hampshire would only get what they have for an interest rate above what Massachusetts taxes.
Yeah.
So they're not going to have the large gain for that tax by doing that.
Yeah.
I think that's something misunderstood, and in order to, I think it's completely misunderstood.
Yeah, especially even on a sales tax, because I know a lot of people shop here.
Yeah,
You know,
and that's
from the
why our
other
biggest
states.
cities are on the border. Absolutely for that.
Yeah.
Portsmouth, Nashua, Salem.
Yeah. And what I like is when their state is saying, hey, New Hampshire, collect the sales tax for us, like Massachusetts is saying that. No, the law in Massachusetts, in Vermont, I don't know what Maine is, that says if you live here in my state, in Vermont, you buy in New Hampshire, when you come back, you're supposed to write a check. Well, I'm sure everybody's law-abiding over there and sends a check to the tax man in Vermont, but they say they don't. Well, that's not our business.
A few years ago, a similar story to that, a few years ago, Maine was stopping people that would go buy alcohol in the liquor stores in Portsmouth, and they would drive back into Maine, and they would get stopped in Maine, and there were problems because of that.
Yeah.
So yes, it does happen.
Yeah. Now I've heard that. Yeah, that they'll stop. I know the tax man in Vermont. I've seen him. He'll drive around, take pictures of Vermont license plates, and then send you a letter, saying, "Hey, I know you shopped in New Hampshire. Where's our money?" And and we should be, we should not be involved in that. So if other states try to force us to do something for them, we should just tell them to pack sand.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And now, how about on the, the constitutional rights? I know you're a big person on, a supporter of that. How are you going to help me and fight in, to make sure our constitutional rights are protected?
I'm a firm supporter of all of our constitutional rights. The Second Amendment was phrased that shall not be infringed. I think that applies to more than just the Second Amendment.
Yes.
I believe all of our Bill of Rights shall not be infringed upon. Once you start on one, what would be next?
That's right.
There are fundamental rights. They should not be touched. They should not be bothered with.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel very strongly on that.
Yeah. And now, how can your part make the state more efficient? How can we with the budget or other items that are coming, how do you feel?
All right, so I've worked in corporate America for 25 years, and corporate America, the retail industry, the chemical industry, manufacturing, education, all these sectors in industry all practice lean methodologies, and essentially that is cut away all the chafe and focus on what needs to be done for a process. If it doesn't need to be done, don't do it. You end up cutting costs, you end up affecting your bottom line, you run processes cheaper. How that can help us with the state, which I'd love to introduce at the state level, is you cut costs, all of a sudden you lower property taxes. And by me saying this, what I mean to say is most candidates are going to say that they want to lower taxes for everybody. So just incorporating this at the state level, we can lower taxes and still provide all the benefits and all the services that are currently done, but we can still lower what we pay in taxes. I think that alone would be huge across our whole state.
Yeah.
I think there are many opportunities where this could be applied.
Yeah. No, I like the sound of that. I think that would work, and hopefully, when the voters say yes, you can go up there, and you could.
You and I will be on the floor up there talking, and I think I would look forward to that, John.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And now you don't live that far, because I've been very blessed. I'm eight years that the voters have allowed me to serve them as their state representative. I have perfect attendance. Now, I know you have talked about that, health-wise and everything else, you feel great, and you hope you can achieve
absolutely.
that. And I've been very blessed with good health.
I think I'm going to be able to join you in the 100% club. While I live in Goffstown, I work about a mile away from the general court, so I don't see me ever missing a voting session at all, just bar none. I work for the university system in New Hampshire, and with flexible time there, I can get to every voting day, just bar none. I would not be missing days.
Yes, and so your employer is willing to allow your time away.
Absolutely.
Especially on Thursdays, that's when we meet for House session.
Absolutely.
There has been a few committee meetings that I've had to miss because of something, but every House session I'm there, because that's really where the vote needs to be taken.
Yeah.
Especially on key votes.
Right. I'm going to be there every day.
Yeah.
Every single vote day.
Yeah. No, I would love to have you up there, and again, I'm just excited to support you and to endorse you, and I hope that the voters will treat you as they've treated me and allow you to go up there with me and sit in that house. It's a wonderful experience.
And I look forward to it.
Yeah, and so we're at the end. If you would like, just tell the voters, in a short couple sentences,
Sure.
please vote.
Absolutely. My name is Jeff Day. I'm running as a conservative Republican. I am a native Goffstonian. I've been a lifelong New Hampshire resident. And I would love to do what needs to be done up in Concord to help protect our character of our town, of our state. I want to stop income tax and sales taxes where they stand, and I want to protect our rights and our freedom. That's it.
Yeah. Well, thank you, and I really
John.
appreciate you coming on and talking about what you believe in. And now these palm cards, you must have passed out hundreds of them already.
I've passed out more than I can count.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you, John.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
We have Mike Gunski now, and he's running for also state representative in District 6, which is just Goffstown. Mike, thank you for coming on.
You're welcome. Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, I want to first start off, I've said this in the last segments, that, the voters have been very good to me, and they've blessed me to allow me to be their state representatives, because some people say, well, I sit in that seat. Well, no, it's the voter's seat.
Yeah, without question.
And they've been good to me, and they allowed me to serve 4 terms, and I hope they will allow me a 5th term. And I just want to tell them that I endorse you 100%. I'm going to vote for you. I'm telling everybody to vote for you because I think you're going to be a lot like I am, and I just need good representatives from Goffstown to help me out out there.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yes.
I do appreciate that.
Yeah, but you've been in this town a long time in Goffstown.
Yeah, 20 years this year. I've been. My wife and I moved in 1998.
Wow.
Had little kids at the time. Actually, we had three children. Actually, a newborn. and now have 4. But we moved in '98, been in the same house on Page Hill Road
Wow.
for 20 years. So it's gone by fast.
Yes, it has. Yeah, I know you've always been good to me and allowed me to put my big sign because that's
Yes.
it's prime real
I've
estate.
got good real estate on the back road of Goffstown, Elm
Yes.
Street, and yes,
Yeah.
if people know, they will see the John Burt sign on the lawn.
Yes, so they'll know where you are.
Exactly.
Yeah, and surprisingly, no, everybody leaves my sign alone, and
Yeah,
you know, it's
they've
right
been
on
really
the corner
good about
there.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
so,
have.
yeah.
And what I like also about what you've done is, you know, your children went to school here, you know, you raised them here in Goffstown, but you also started a business several years ago, and you started it here in Goffstown. I mean, you could have gone elsewhere.
Yeah,
but
we actually,
you started it here.
Yeah, my brother and I started a business in '03. We moved into our current address actually in, I think, '07, and we've been there since '07 on Lammy Drive.
Wow.
So, yeah,
So it has been 2003, that long?
Yeah.
Because I remember when you.
I know. Yeah, time flies.
Wow.
A little more gray hair. Yeah, but we've been in business since '03. We employ 18 people now.
Wow.
We've expanded. Yeah, I think we're about 6,000 square feet. So yeah, it's been a fun ride. Honestly,
Yeah.
I've had a great time.
Yes.
No doubt.
Yeah. And how big could you get? You know, can you get? You know, do you need bigger space? I meant. Is that where?
Yeah, actually, we will look. We're pretty maxed out as far as our space right now.
Yeah.
I mean, but we're making things work. We could grow a little bit more, no doubt about it. We could use a little bit more space. We looked at actually purchasing. That would be something in the future for us, is purchasing our own space. Right now, we lease it through a company and stuff. But yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah. No, you've done well.
Yeah, it's fun. Like I said, I get up in the morning and I do really enjoy my
Yes.
job, so I enjoy
Yeah.
going to work. So.
Well, and what I like about, you know, your attitude is that, you know, when I first got in 2010, we were like 48th, 49th, not favorable to businesses. And now we're in the low 30s, high 20s, which were a lot better.
Yeah, a lot better.
But you being a businessman, I think will bring a lot of knowledge to the table at the state level, you know, for helping bring that 28, 29, 30, whatever the number is of business-friendly New Hampshire, bring it even down lower.
Yeah, I mean, New Hampshire is fairly business friendly. I mean, we have some work to do still. You know, obviously taxation is a big item. Energy costs, another one. It's a big item.
That is.
Especially manufacturing.
Yes.
That consumes a lot of energy, and high energy costs is not friendly to manufacturing. So.
No.
And there, you know, some other things. Obviously, I am kind of been exploring the healthcare issues, which, you know, as a business person, it's a big issue of ours. There's no doubt about it. It's one
Yes.
of my largest costs. So.
It has to be, yeah, because you supply health care.
Yeah, we supply healthcare for our employees. We've paid 100% of our employees' healthcare since inception.
Really, that's
yeah,
unheard of.
Yeah, we've tried to do the best we can with our employees, and every year, you know, we're out shopping insurance like everybody else, and every year, unfortunately, we get that. Well, your premium's going up 15% this year, and we're going to have to play with your deductibles and out of pocket. So it's a serious issue. And
Yes, yeah.
So.
That's got to be a full-time job just fighting that.
Yeah, that's what my wife helps me with.
Yeah, you're very lucky. You got a beautiful wife, and she's you can see the devotion.
She's an amazing woman, no doubt. So
yeah.
I met. I was fortunate enough to spend some time talking with Andy Sanborn over this past weekend.
Yes.
And had some real good conversation with Andy. And I had said to him, the old saying, behind every good man,
yes,
they say it's a good woman, but I say it's a better woman.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
without question.
No, I'm in the same camp. You've known Phyllis for a long time.
Yes.
And, I'm just blessed to have her.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
She's a wonderful woman, and and now the other thing too is one thing I like about you and why I'm going to support you and vote for you is the income sales tax isn't even going to be on your lips.
No.
Because most reps, they know not to bring it up, but there are some up there that do it. When they bring it up, I always go,
yeah, we
yeah.
No. No. Income and sales, no way.
Yeah, because you understand what New Hampshire's built with.
100%. Yeah, without question. I mean, we are a destination state for people.
We are.
And they're purchasing. We get it from the south, we get it from the from the west, we get it from the east and the north, and our Canadian neighbors. So there's a lot of a lot of revenue that comes into this state from people buying. So.
And I enjoy when the papers complain that New York's tax man and Vermont tax man, they brought it up many times, they want us to stop the trucks coming from their states over to New Hampshire at the liquor stores from putting liquor in them. And we're like, look, it's illegal. You know, they could come over and buy clothes.
Yeah.
You know, we're not going to stop them.
Yeah.
And we're not going to police it.
Yeah.
You know, when they go back to your state, your laws are whatever they are.
Exactly.
Leave us alone.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
that's not ours to regulate.
That's right.
Leave that to your state.
Yeah. And also, you do a lot of volunteer work. I know
Yes.
that you do like Special Olympics and.
Yeah, I'm a coach with Special Olympics.
That's got to be
Actually,
extremely rewarding.
It's been a lot of fun,
Yeah.
honestly. I have an athlete that I've been working with specifically, and it's rewarding. There's no doubt about it. He's a
Yeah.
good guy. We have our state tournament that's coming up in September. So, and actually this year we had a chance of getting into the World Games.
Really?
But we didn't. Yeah, we didn't. They actually didn't choose New Hampshire in the lottery, but had they, it would have been a good opportunity. I think we might have had a good chance, but that would have been amazing. Because
That
it was,
would've.
I think it was in like Abu Dhabi or something. so for my athlete himself, he's never been involved in any of the national or world games, so that would have been quite a thing. So yeah.
Now, which committee do you think? I mean, I know that you'd have to look at them all.
Yeah, I would have
but,
to look at them.
You know, is there something particular that you really care about? Like, I'm on criminal justice because I'm a gun guy, and I know you support the Second Amendment.
Criminal justice would be something I find that interesting.
It is.
So,
it's
actually
unbelievable.
My
when I first
youngest
got
boy
it.
is actually studying criminal justice at the University of Rhode Island right now.
Really?
So yeah, so I find criminal justice. I mean, that would be fascinating. Fishing game. I'm a sportsman.
That's a good
I
committee.
started with guns when I was. I think my father bought me a rifle when I was like 12 years old, 11
Wow.
years old.
Yeah.
That was my
Good.
first rifle that was mine.
Yeah.
So I've been a sportsman, and love my fishing, love my hunting.
Yeah.
So that would be something I'd be interested in.
So there's quite a few committees. That
Yeah,
you
no
could
doubt
fit
about
in.
it. I mean, I obviously business, commerce, and things. I mean, I'm interested in a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So I kind of have to take a look around and see what would be the best fit. But I've got lots of interests.
Yes. And now, being self-employed will also allow you time to attend, session and some committee work.
Yes. Oh yeah, without question.
Yeah,
Yeah. The
because
committee
that's
work is
important.
super important. No doubt about it. Without good committee work, the
When it
machine
goes to the
doesn't work.
House floor,
Yeah, without question. So I understand. As a business person, I've done a lot of, from a business point of view, I've done a lot of self-improvement and sales and management, and I'm using some of those skills, time management and things to bring this to the state, but also maintain, my business responsibilities also. So it's really important.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. Well, we're almost wrapped up, and I'd love to have you talk to the voters and just say, why, in a couple sentences, why you should be elected, and I hope they are listening, because I hope they vote for you, because as I am.
I appreciate it. Thanks. Yeah. As John said, I'm Mike Gunski. I've been a 20-year resident here in Goffstown with my family, and people have asked me, why are you running? And I've been interested in politics, my whole adult life. And where I am professionally, I just feel the time is right, and that's what I said. It's just the right time to throw your hat in and do some work. That's what that's what runs this country. People volunteering, putting their time in, and that's what it's about. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Mike.
Thank you very much,
appreciate it.
John. I really appreciate it.
Yes.
Thanks.
No, I enjoyed having you on.
Yeah. Thank you.
Welcome back, and wasn't that great interviews from those four? I enjoyed that they had the time to come and sit with me and talk to you guys and talk to me. I think all four of them did a great job the way they spoke. You could tell that they were all passionate in that they want to serve Goffstown in the state. I've always said, I am going to serve Goffstown, Ware, and Deering the best I can. But really, I serve the state. If the whole state is happy with the decisions that I make up to the State House, and if you send these 4 and 5, with the candidates that I want up there, it's going to help me make the state happy, because we're all going to vote the right way and keep on a good path to keep New Hampshire prosperous like it is right now. Like I think Jeff Day said or that this is a destination, and it is. New Hampshire is a destination for some people. But let me get to this ballot that I wanted to talk about on who I'm going to vote for on September 11th, 2018 for the primary. And for governor, Chris Sununu, I'm going to vote for. Congress, I am still on the fence. I apologize for that. Normally, I know where I want to vote, but Congress and CD1, I'm still on the fence. For executive counselor, I'm going to support and endorse Jane Cormier. I think she's the better candidate. If Ted gets up there, I think he'll do an okay job, but I'm telling you, I'm going to support and endorse Jane Cormier. I think she's going to do the best job up there. She's more aligned with my conservativeness. Now, Carla Garrick, she's been on my TV show. Her interview that she was here is on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube or my Facebook page, you could try to find it there. But YouTube, if you type in John Burt, Carla Garrick, it should come up. So I'm going to endorse her and support her. And then on the state rep, again, we had Fred Plett, Joe Alexander, Jeff Day, and Mike Gunski that were in studio here, and it was great interviews. They did a great job. Unfortunately, Barbara Griffin is out of town, so she couldn't make it, but I do support her, and I am going to vote for her. Again, there was 2 other people that it was hard, to go through the list, but I think the 5 that I picked will align themselves more with what I believe in, being a conservative and the Constitution and other items like that. Now, District 39, there's some guy named John Burt on there. That's me. So hopefully you'll fill that circle in. That would be nice. Sheriff, there's only one, James Hardy. County Attorney, Dennis Hogan. County Treasurer, there's only one, David Fredette. David does do a good job for us. I really do like him. Register of Deeds, I really don't know on that one. I haven't done any research on the 3 names, so I apologize for that. Register of Probate is Joe Kelly Lavasser. I apologize for getting his name wrong. Joe Kelly Lavasser, he's a good guy. Now the next one is County Commissioner Robert Rowe. I'm telling you, he's a great guy. I served with him as a state rep. I really think he should be reelected, and so hopefully you'll vote for him. And then on delegates for state convention, there's 6 names that I like, but I can only vote for 5. So there's Karen McCrae. I really like her. She's been a huge supporter of mine. I'm almost thinking of voting for her, but I just don't know. So there's Karen McCrae, Emily Sandblade, Leah Wasco. I've known Leah for many, many years. I really want to vote for her. Rick Christie, I know him. Tony Howd, it's Anthony Howd on the ballot, and Chris McCrae. There's 6 of them there. I got to decide which ones I'm going to vote for, so it's going to be a little hard for me to say, one of my friends, I'm sorry, I can't vote for you because I'm only allowed, 5 names. But I hope you enjoyed this show, and I'm going to YouTube this, so if you want to see it again, again, it'll be on GTV, of course, for, about a week. But it will be YouTubed if you want to come back and see any of those candidates. They did a great job when they sat here and I interviewed them. So I appreciate you watching, and I hope this show helped you. Make sure you get out and vote September 11th. We need you to show that we are standing together and that we're going to vote. So grab that Republican ballot, mark these names down, and let's get it done. And then make sure you come back in November. We have to vote in November. And until next time, I want to thank you for joining me. Bye now.